right. It was 1987. I had just turned 18 years old. I was at the University of Oregon. It was just after the orientation. Ducks. And I was on top of the Herb Memorial Union, the EMU, the student union, kind of up on the roof on like a little catwalk or walkway with a girl from my dorm, and we were making out. And a super sweet girl, really nice girl. I don't know why she was with me. I was kind of a doof at the time. Not like now. But I was told more than once back then that I looked like a young James Spader. So maybe that was it, but she was with me. I was glad. We were dry humping. I don't know what the kids are calling it nowadays, but that's what we were doing. Dry humping. I remember that I was wearing white denim pants. I wore Vans a lot. I had some Vans on, probably a Swatch shirt or Hawaiian shirt, maybe. I don't know what the shirt was. I know I had a Panama hat on, which was like a proto fedora. Nowadays they wear the fedoras. The dorks wear the fedoras, but back then we wore the Panama hat. And I had a scarf tied around it, like the band, and like all Aerosmithy down the back, like the scarf coming down. So, in spite of all that, she was with me making out, dry humping. Oh, and I had my letter jacket from high school, because I was one of the guys that believed that you could transfer the whatever mojo you had built up in high school. You could bring that with you, and I found out I was wrong. You can't do that. It does not transfer. But I had, in order to impress people, to hang on to my social standing that I had achieved, I had everything on my letter jacket. I had every letter even the band letter. I had medals and pins from USAA swimming, like extracurricular stuff that had no business being on my letter jacket. I think I had a pin from working at McDonald's for a year. I think that was on there. So it was ridiculous. I was wearing this thing. We're dry humping, and it's going well as planned. I mean, it's nothing creepy or rapey or anything. It was a profusion of consent all around. We were all on the same page, and things were going well until I got a searing, horrible, worst pain that I'd ever experienced in my penis. And I don't know if you're familiar with the dry humping and how that works, but I needed it, and it seemed like it wasn't going to work out. So I kind of panicked. And what's funny about the 18-year-old mind and body is that my mind was panicking, like, this has to stop, we have to stop. And my body was like, nah, I think we're okay. We're in it to win it. Let's keep going, see what happens. So I did not know what to do. Horrible, horrible pain. Kept going. Finally, I thought, well, this, the pleasure versus pain quotient, was finally, the cons outweighed the pros, and I decided that I had to end it, but I didn't really know how to gracefully. I don't know why I thought I had to gracefully end it, but I was horrible pain. I thought I was having like a penis attack. I didn't, I don't know if that's a thing, but was pretty sure that's what was happening. What I later found out was that one of the pins off of my letter jacket had come off and had fallen on my lap, and in our sort of mashing together, it was getting mashed into, and I wish I could say it was in the same spot, but it wasn't. Different spots every time. So it clearly had to end. And so I got the idea, like previously in my experience with the dry humping, there was really I didn't have to have an exit strategy. I mean, it was either it led to the moist humping, or like a parent or a teacher or a cop or somebody would show up and it would all end up. So, but I thought, well, I'm gonna have to fake an orgasm in order to get this over with. So, and in my experience up to that point too, I was relatively inexperienced, and so my frame of reference with the male orgasm and having to convey one, because previously they've been secret, mysterious, like I'd kept it to myself. I didn't want people to know I was having an orgasm. Even when I started doing it with other people, didn't want them to know. So the orgasms that I had seen performed by men had been in porn from like the 70s and 80s. So if you're familiar with that, what that kind of orgasm sounds like. So that's what I tried to muster up. And I remember distinctly that there was 3 sort of dry hump thrusts, and I did this sort of build thing. The first one, I don't know if I should like try and approximate the noise I made, but it was, yes, all right. So the first one was like, oh, and then the second build, and it was like, oh, and then the third, I sort of channeled. I studied theater at U of O, so I did sort of channel some Meisner like method kind of thing, and just use the pain and frustration. Oh, and I think of this poor girl. I mean, I'm sure she's told this story, but this poor girl. This guy with the leather jacket and the hat and the Vans and the white pants and everything, and I do this to her. So that pretty much ends it. I'm able to sort of gracefully stop thrusting and having the pain. And I'm a gentleman, so we actually did I held her for a little while afterwards. But I'm sure I was like sweating and clammy and shaking. And so who knows what she thought was going on there. But so ended that, and as she she had been straddling me, and as she came off, in the light that was available, looked down and I could see on my white pants this sort of ghastly red map of Hawaii kind of thing down my pants. And what's beautiful about this girl is she saw that, and what do you think she said? Sorry. She said, I'm sorry. She was an innocent victim of this whole thing. I had literally thrust this upon her. And I was a victim too, because I was in pain, I was bleeding, but here's where I become the villain of the story. She said, I'm sorry, and I said, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Thank you.